Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 9:57 a.m. This is News and Views on Salaamedia, and we're going to be wrapping up the show today with an interview with my colleague Inayet Wadee, who is now preparing to burn the midnight oil with the upcoming tour of Hamza Chalan. Once again, Alhamdulillah, Salaamedia has done it again. They have come up with one of the most amazing events initiatives, and that, of course, is the Hamza Chalan tour. And Inayet here has been in on it from day one, so he'll be able to give us an absolutely accurate account of this amazing young man and what we can hope to see in South Africa going forward. Assalamu alaikum to you, Inayet. Welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Julie, and always wonderful being with you. And as you mentioned, once again, Salam Media pulling off another major event by getting Hamza Chalan to South Africa, following from what we've been doing over the last year, from the time we had Matt Gilbert and Yumna Saeed. Now, photojournalist, content creator Hamza Chalan with footage that we've never seen before, because this is a man who has spent 7 months at the height of the genocide in Gaza. So clearly, we at Salam Media are excited, and I'm sure audiences right across the length and breadth of the country should be equally excited, Juliet.
My dua is that he remains safe up to the time he comes to South Africa and even post his South African visit, because you can't put anything past the murderous, genocidal, apartheid Israel regime. Because if they get wind of the fact that he's coming to South Africa to share his work with us, which I know is going to be absolutely, maybe not the right word to be using, but horrific. When you see those images on screen, it leaves you absolutely cold. And he's taken all of this footage, and if you ask me, I'm sure apartheid Israel wouldn't want him to share his work with the rest of the world, or perhaps they've reached a point where they couldn't care because they truly believe that they are the chosen people and they are supposedly fighting for to get back their homeland.
Yes, Julie. In fact, I've seen some of his footage, and I've shared a fair amount of his footage as well in anticipation of his visit, and also in terms of promoting the event. And as you mentioned, it leaves you stone cold, but also it's gut wrenching. It's actually heart wrenching to see a side of Gaza that we've never ever seen before. And this, I think, is going to shock many a listener, many a viewer. One cannot put anything past this Zionist entity who will do anything, considering the journalists that have been killed over a period of time, just so that they can't get that message out to the rest of the world. But we've been fortunate, alhamdulillah, even when Yumna Saeed was here, and now that Hamza Chalan is coming, is to bring that ugly side of the genocide to our viewers. And this time around, doing something very different, because these are not going to be just talks. These are going to be presentations that are going to be made to audiences, so they would be able to see the visuals, they would be able to see the stark reality, the harsh reality, the ugly reality of this genocide. And once again, Salam Media, in terms of this initiative, in terms of the events that we are hosting, again, to continue with our ongoing work of humanitarian journalism, and to bring the realities on the ground, to bring the realities to our viewers and listeners. And also, what is exciting about this tour is we are going to be touching base in areas where we haven't been before, areas like
Wow.
Bloemfontein, Mafeking. These are areas that have never ever had any of these events. So we try to do our best, as we've done with Yumna Al Said, going to some of the main centers in some of the other areas like Botswana, where we haven't been before. This time around, we're taking this campaign to many other towns that are well, and I must say, they've been very, very cooperative. They've been very, very welcoming and partnering with us on this initiative. So Yes, it's going to be burning midnight oil. It's going to be a long tour, a 2 week tour. But at the same time, I think at the end of the day, we cannot stop. We need to be relentless, as this genocide has been relentless, as we've seen massacre after massacre unfolding on a daily basis for well over a year. We at Salam Media cannot stop, and this is the reason why we will continue doing what we have to do, Julie.
Once again, I highly commend Shamshir Khan, Ponti Molitsani, yourself, and a few other people, perhaps behind the scene, who brainstorm and come up with the most amazing tours, initiatives, projects that bring these stories right to the doorstep of us here in South Africa. I can't even begin to imagine the amount of planning and brainstorming and logistics that is involved in bringing these tours to South Africa. So I commend each and every one of you so very highly with the highest of respect. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your efforts. I truly marvel at the thinking, the suggestions, and everything that goes into these tours. You speak about the targeting of journalists. And I think up to now, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we stand at 108 or above journalists, the number of journalists that have been killed in this genocide. I once again want to talk about the safety of Hamza Chalan and other journalists in Gaza. Your thoughts about that situation, Inayet? You yourself are a journalist. We here at Salam Media are a media house, and I guess we too have a target on our backs, not necessarily to be killed or anything, but to be watched very closely. Let's not take the situation lightly. We're probably on some sort of a red list, maybe in the United States, Israel itself. And I guess I was telling someone in my family that on my bucket list I've got the three harem tour, but I can actually delete that because I don't think you and I and anyone else here at Salam Media will be allowed to visit Al Aqsa, for example, or brothers and sisters in Palestine. How do you feel about that comment of mine?
Well, Julie, you mentioned 108. Now, I think that number is a lot more, considering that it is not only journalists. We are talking about people that support journalists, camera people, and also one needs
Ah,
to consider the families of those journalists as well. So the picture is actually a lot more grave as far as journalists are concerned. But just coming back to the issue that you have raised. Yes, we are being watched like we watch them all the time. I've seen a number of articles that have made reference to us, to Salam Media and Anti-Israel Media House as well. Apparently, there was an event that was held in Cape Town, and this is where there was an article that even appeared in the Times of Israel. My name has appeared in the Times of Israel as well. Someone wrote an article a few years ago. So we are definitely being watched, but at the end of the day, that we need to talk the truth, and this is exactly what Salam Media is doing. Is apart from just we've seen the mainstream narrative, we've seen corporate media narrative pushing a certain agenda. Now ours is not an agenda. Ours is basically to embrace humanitarian journalism. Ours is to talk the truth. Ours is to bring the real hard facts to people on the ground. And this is actually what should actually set us apart. And also, it's not only a journalistic duty; it's an Islamic duty to stand up to talk truth to power, to stand up against oppression, to talk about it, and more importantly, at the end of the day, these are teachings that we need to embrace, both from an Islamic point of view, but also from a humanitarian perspective. And this is where Salam Media actually stands apart. We're a small team. Shamshir always talks about a group of around 15 people. But again, it's not about numbers, it's about the impact that one can make. And Salam Media has made an impact. And this is the reason why, when you talk about the other side, They have taken notice. They have taken note of what Salaamedia is capable of and what Salaamedia has achieved today.
Undoubtedly, let's not kid ourselves. We are being monitored every second, every minute of the day. Let's talk about these two, yourself included, three amazing people that are so immersed and involved in keeping the stories alive, keeping Palestine alive in the hearts and the minds of South Africa and beyond. And that, of course, is Shamshir Khan, Ponti Moletsani, and yourself, because, like I indicated, you guys burn the midnight oil. Um, and the logistics and the hard work and idea formation, project management, everything that goes into an event like this. How does it start?
Well, Julie, it's amazing, and I sometimes I wonder where we actually get the strength from, because as you mentioned, there is just so much that goes into planning a tour, and this is not only about internal planning from a Salam Media perspective. One is actually in touch with many other people. You are talking about third parties. You are talking about each area, each town, which is unique. Each one has its own dynamics. Each one is different. So you're talking to different people. You are talking of a mixture of events. You're talking about public events. You're talking of fundraising events. You are speaking about dinners. And all of this put together, again, it's not only about that event that is taking place on that night. A lot of work goes on in planning for this, whether it's technical, whether it's sound, or whether it's finding an appropriate venue, talking to the right people. All of this put together is takes a lot of effort. It's a lot of hard work. But Alhamdulillah, over a period of time, Julie, we've gained enough. We've learned. We've had enough experiences in managing this. But like I mentioned, each tour is different. Each one brings its own dynamic with it. And for example, the Hamza Chalan tour is going to be very, very different, because this is the first time we're looking at an audio visual tour and an audio visual presentation. So we need to make absolutely sure that everything is spot on, and a lot of technical expertise actually goes in as well in hosting a successful event. So we're certainly looking forward to it. And again, like I mentioned, is we are going into areas that we've never ever been to before. I mean, Bloemfontein, looking forward to this. Mafeking, looking forward to it. Ladysmith, we haven't been there before. And this time around, even taking the tour into our very own Soweto. I don't think anyone has ever taken anything like this to an area like Soweto. So we certainly are excited, because we will be connecting with a brand new audience, a very, very different audience, and more importantly, a diverse audience this time around. And this is exactly what we need to do. And I'm just looking at the banner that has come up on the screen, where we're looking at the Zamini Mosque in Soweto as well. People in Soweto are excited about Hamza Chalan visiting the tour. It just does augurs very, very well for us here in South Africa, considering that there is the huge support. There is a huge support for the Palestinian cause in this country, Julie.
Okay, let's talk about this upcoming tour. You've indicated that it's going to be different, very different to previous tours that we've had. This is going to be in the form of an video audio presentation. How long is each presentation going to be? And let's also understand the different areas that the tour is going to be going to. I see Soweto is on the list, which is very exciting, but I don't see any Johannesburg venues here. Are we not touching down in Johannesburg at all?
No, we will be in Johannesburg. We will be in Johannesburg. We're actually starting off in the Eastern Cape this time around. Kebega or Port Elizabeth, as it was previously known, is where we're going to kick off on the 16th of November. And from there onwards, we've got 2 days in Cape Town. We come back, we're looking at Mafeking, and this is when we come back to Johannesburg. We are still looking at a public event in Johannesburg. So definitely there will be one. We are talking to certain organizations. We're talking to the solidarity groups as well. So Joburg will definitely happen. Look at all the major centers. We definitely will be able to accommodate. So Johannesburg is on the cards. Soweto is on the cards, and then we're looking at the KwaZulu-Natal leg of the tour. We've got, as I mentioned, we've got Northwest this time, Mafeking, Bloemfontein, and then we're going to end up in KwaZulu-Natal. Confirmation has come through from Ladysmith. We are talking to people in Port Shepstone. If that doesn't happen, possibly even take it to the North Coast this time around. A place like Stanger hasn't had any events of this sort. We are looking at that as well, and obviously culminating with Durban right on the 30th of November. So again, we are looking at variety. As I mentioned, there is going to be a fair mix of public events and also fundraising events as well. Some of them are going to be fundraising dinners, and this all to assist us at Salaamedia as well to continue with our humanitarian journalism projects.
And inshallah, closer to the time, you will be sharing all of that information with us as well. The fundraising dinners and the presentations. I did ask you that question. We just want people to be comfortable to know that it's not going to be long and drawn out. They're going to be visual, audio-visual presentations, and there will be an opportunity to interact and engage with Hamza Chalan.
Without doubt, look here, I mean, people, obviously, their level of concentration, one needs to consider, and you, as you mentioned, long drawn presentations. I don't think it will be like a 2-hour presentation, possibly an hour max. A lot of these events we're actually planning possibly to last for close to 2 hours, which is manageable at the same time with the presentations and also giving people an opportunity to interact with Hamza Chalan as well. So we have definitely got that in mind, Julie, and we are considerate when it comes to people and to keep them, make sure that they're comfortable, but also at the same time, you don't want a long-drawn, boring presentation taking place. But I'm sure it won't be, because as I mentioned, the footage from Hamza actually is going to blow people's minds.
Riveting.
Really,
It is riveting to say the least from what I've picked up on air, the stuff that you've sent through. So it's absolutely riveting. We're going to have to leave it there. Inayet, Wadee, always a pleasure to talk with you. You are my colleague here at Salaamedia, and I can't wait to get to meet this young man, Hamza Chalan, and to obviously be a part of this amazing event. Thank you. Allah accept all of our efforts. Inshallah, keep us all safe. And as always, Assalamu alaikum to you.
I mean, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, Julie, and thanks for having me. Assalamu alaikum.
It is exactly 10:15, time for me to wrap up. And inshallah, we are going to be wrapping up with this amazing Heard on Air clip. It is revisiting the Balfour Declaration and its lasting impact on Palestine and the Middle East. Salailo Makwadiri, my other colleague here at Salaamedia, interviewed Restless Beings founder and director, and that, of course, is Mabrur Ahmed. So do take a view and listen to that. It is riveting stuff. Till you and I get together again next week, Monday at the same time, take care, keep us in your du'as, take care, keep safe on the roads, and as always, Assalamu alaikum, and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.
We are here in the middle of a Zahra neighborhood. The whole neighborhood is already destroyed. More than 17 towers are down. Here, as you can see, the firefighters trying their best to help. The people are still under the rubble. A lot of the people.
Join Hamza on his exclusive South African tour as he shares his personal experiences, never before seen footage, and powerful insights on the ongoing genocide in Gaza. This is more than just a talk. It's an invitation to witness Gaza through the lens of Hamza Chalan. don't miss this opportunity to meet the photojournalist who brought Gaza's pain and perseverance to the world in its darkest moments. Follow Salaamedia on social media pages for more on this tour and be